Hello, everybody. How you guys doing today? I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Well, today we're going to be doing a revision um, regards what we've learned in our classes already. We're going to be doing a revision on basic academic vocabulary, and yeah, without wasting enough time, let's go straight to it. So here teaching vocabulary, understanding key vocabulary. So we're going to be looking at the academic form of the vocabulary we've learned in our classroom. So the revision is going to be basically to refresh your memory of what we've done before, so that you don't forget. The fourth thing we're going to be looking at here, the listed words in the box are some vocabulary used to talk about sports. So all of those listed words here, they are academic words to describe any sporting event. So we've got ancient, we've got complete, we've got competition, we've got strength, we've got swimming, take place, throw, participant, course, climb, accident, in shape, and challenging. So these words are actually words we've learned in the classroom, and I have given an in-depth explanation to this word already. So today we're just going to look at it one more time, just to help you remember the words in a more vivid way. The fourth one, ancient. Verb is an adjective word. An adjective are used to describe a noun or pronoun. For example, he is a very interesting person. John is an understandable man. So all of that are the adjectives used to express that. So ancient here, an adjective, very old, having existed for a very long time. Compete is a verb, okay, which describe action in a sentence. To take part in a contest or game, to try to be better than somebody else who is trying to do the same as you. The next one is competition. Competition is a noun. And don't forget, a noun is a name of anything. Okay, so in this sense, we're going to be looking at the definition of competition. Competition is an event in which people compete with each other to find out who is the best at something. Then strength. Strength is an adjective. It's usually or surprising, especially in a way that is difficult to understand. Then we've got swimming. Swimming is a noun. Swim is a verb where we have ing to it, which is gerund. It becomes swimming. A sports exercise or activity people do on water by moving their body. Take place. Take place is a phrase of place. It actually describes or talk about location where a particular thing happened. So take place here, we've got to happen or occur. Throw. Throw is a verb. It's an action word. To send something from your hand through the air by moving your hands or arm quickly. Then we've got participant. Participant is a noun. A person who is taking part in an activity or event. Then we've got course. Course is a verb, an area of land or water where races are held. So please pay attention to this course here. Course actually have several meaning. Okay, course could be related to food. You know, when you go to a restaurant, you ask what is the main course. of your foot today, or cuts can also be used to represent, to talk about a certain or a series of subjects you're studying in school. That could also be a course or what you study in the university. But in this sense, what we're actually referring to here, it's an area of land where a sporting event happens. Then we've got climb. I'm very sure you're familiar with this word climb. Climb is a verb, it's an action word to go up something towards the top. Then we've got accident is a noun, an unpleasant event, especially in a vehicle that happen unexpectedly and cause injury. Okay, so an accident is not something you plan for. It's a sudden thing that happens to people. Sometimes it could be very dangerous, sometimes it could be minor. So what we mean by unexpectedly here, it's something that you necessarily did not plan for, but suddenly happen as a result of people's carelessness, or as a result of other forms of actions. Then in shape here, it's a phrasal verb. Okay, don't forget phrasal verb. It's a word that makes sense. It expresses complete thoughts. So we have preposition and verb coming together to form a sentence. So in this sense, in shape means in good state of physical fitness or body appearance. Okay, for example, when you see people very fit, when people are strong, you can say, oh, that person is in good shape or is in shape. So shape can also have some other meaning. It could means, it could be a noun, but we're not talking about the noun form of shape here. We're talking about the verb form of shape, which of course expressing on the condition where someone is. Then we've got challenging. Challenging is an adjective. Okay, it's difficult in an interesting way that tests your ability. Okay, sometimes you do challenging 10, very difficult doing it, but by the time you finish doing it, you feel relaxed, you feel happy that you're able to achieve it's that particular activity. So now we're going to look at how those adjectives, those academic adjectives, can actually be used in a real sense. We're going to look at the forms and their usage. So here you see the headings. We have forms or usage, and we have about 13 sentences here. Okay, that can better help you understand how these adjectives are used in the sentence. We have suchu, boxing, swimming. All of these ancient sports are still practiced around the world today. So boxing obviously is still very much practiced in the world today. Swimming is practiced in the world today. Suchu, you might not be familiar with this one. Suchu is actually a Chinese football, okay? And today, football is still very much relevant in our world and very popular game. The second sentence, Jonathan is hoping to compete in the London Marathon this weekend. So you can actually form a sentence by using compete in this sense. With the third sentence, they had a competition to see who could sell the most lemonade in the football match. And the fourth one, playing cricket was strange to me at first, but I soon learned the rule of the games. Then the fifth one, the best way to keep fit is by swimming few times a week. Then the sixth, the basketball competition will take place at İSTEK Adibadan campus tomorrow. Then the seventh, rugby players throw the ball right and leave no room for mistakes. And the seventh one, Jane was a participant at the Boston Marathon a few years ago. And ninth, and this 8th, James was a participant. Okay, we've just done that. And the 9th, I was overtaken on the last stretch of the course. The 10th, it took several days for the climbers to climb Mount Everest. The 11th, Janine had an accident when her car slid off the racing track. The 12th, staying in shape is very important for people nowadays. And the 13th, you need to understand the danger in challenging me in a boxing fight. So when you look at these sentences, when you look at this vocabulary, you can see how they are constructed. They are used to construct the sentence for you to better see how you can actually relate to this word in a real sense, in form of writing, also in form of speaking. Now we're going to go further to talk about a few things for you to better understand the vocabulary. But in this sense, it's going to be with a synonym and understanding those vocab from a context. If you look here, we have what meanings from contents by using synonyms. And as we already discussed in our classes, we do know synonyms are words that have the same or almost the same in meaning. So the words that are synonymous to each other, they are related to each other. Okay, you can either use one or the other in form of writing or in form of speaking. Okay, now we're going to look at some basics, some few ways we can actually better understand how we can find synonym from a context. Let's say in these sentences below, the vocabularies we have already learned are bolded in each section. We are going to use the context to help us identify a synonym of the word. Now let's go down. If you look at these sentences here, we've got the word in both form: ancient, compete, competition, strange, and the list goes on. What we're going to do here, we're going to try to see the words that are closely related to the words we've already learned. For example, we have boxing is an ancient sport. It was popular in Rome. The first sport is still practiced in the world today. So ancient and first, they are synonymous to each other. You can either say ancient or you can say sports. Okay, when you look at the second sentence, instead of repeating ancient again, I didn't do that, but instead I used the words that are closely related to ancient in the second sentence to make the writing a little bit fun. If you look at it properly, you can see the words are all underlined in the sentence. The second sentence is people people all over the world, beg your pardon, compete in New York City Marathon every year. The people who take part in the event are usually very fit and strong. So compete, take part, they are the same. So take part, it's synonymous to compete. So compete and take part is a synonym to compete. So again, instead of repeating compete all over again, I rather find the best word that is closely related to compete to use in the second sentence. So this is very fun in the writing. Okay, it's going to make your writing more coherent and cohesive in a way so that it can be more interesting to read. When you repeat words over again, for example, if you say people all over the world compete in the New York City Marathon every year, the people who compete, that would be boring. Okay, it won't be fun to watch. That is a repetition of a word. So instead of repeating that word over and over again, we'd rather find a synonym that is closely related to that word to put in the second sentence. And that is what exactly we did here. The other sentence, they will play in a competition to see who the best volleyball player is. I'm sure the tournament will be fun to watch. Again, that tournament is the synonym for compete. There are other synonyms to competition, actually, but in this sense, tournament is more suitable to use. And the other sentence says, many people think cricket is a strange sport. However, some people believe the unfamiliar sport is interesting. So unfamiliar, strange, they are closely synonymous to each other. Instead of repeating strange again, I rather find the words that is close synonymous to strange and put it here, which is unfamiliar. Let's go further. It said John is an amazing baseball player. He throws the ball perfectly. His ability to pitch the ball makes him the best. So the reason why we have X here, okay, there's an exception instead of saying throw, because we have this personal pronoun here. Okay, once you have he, she, it, the verb that comes after them needs to have s, which is an exception. So again, he throws the ball perfectly well. His ability to pitch the ball makes him the best. So throw and pitch, they are both synonymous to each other. So pitch is a synonym to throw. This week, the basketball competition will take place at İSTEK Acıbadem campus. I am not sure where the event will happen next week. Take place, it's related to a location, as we've said before. It's a phrase of place. Okay, so happen where something happened, take place where something happened. They are both synonymous to each other. You can either say take place, or you can also say happen. The next sentence, she loves swimming in the Olympic-sized swimming pool every morning. She'd splash around the pool before going to school. So you can either say swimming, or you could say splash around. So again, splash around is a synonym to swimming. There are other synonyms that are closely related to swimming, but splash around was the best suitable words to use in this sentence. The next one, Jane was a participant at the Boston Marathon race, but there were other partakers in the event. Partaker, participant, they are all closely related to each other. So you can either say partaker, or you can say participant. They are all related to people who attended an event. The next sentence, the golf course was so big, it was hard to drive the car through the path. So course and path, they are closely related to each other, okay? Like a path is a place where a sporting event happened, and course is also a place where a sporting event happens. So they're closely related to each other. And again, please do remember, when you are writing, it's best, to write with synonym in order to avoid having repetition, which of course in turns make the writing very difficult to read and really boring to read as well. So it's very important for us to pay attention on how we can use synonym to describe a particular word, or to use in a particular in a speaking or writing. The next sentence, it took several days for the climber to climb Mount Everest. It was difficult task to scale to the summit. So I'm sure you're very familiar with climb, that you can either say climb or scale. They are both closely related to each other. The next one, Jenny had an accident when her car slid off the racing track. The tragedy left her devastated. So it's accident, tragedy, they are very closely related to each other. So tragedy is a synonym to accident. So you can either say a tragic event happened to someone, or you can say an accident happened to someone. The next one is staying in shape is very important for people that enjoy being fit and healthy. Again, in shape, okay, it's a phrasal verb, okay, which is formed with a preposition and a verb. Two of them come together to make a complete thought or sense. Shape also can be a noun, but in this form, we're referring to the verb part of it. So being in shape in this form literally means to be fit, to be strong, to be healthy. So all of these, fit, healthy, and strong, is the synonym for in shape. Then the last but not the least, we've got Tom daring to take part in a challenging event trending on the internet. So dare here could also mean challenging. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen the event happening on the internet, like the ALS challenge and other challenges that people throw around on a social media. So you can either refer that as dare or challenge or challenging someone to do something. So in this context, we're talking about when you dare someone to do something, or when you challenge someone into a fight or other activity. So now we're going to look at some few pictures which will help us better digest this academic vocabulary better. So here we've got several pictures. We've got swimming, we've got challenging, we've got throw, we've got strange, we've got accidents, we've got participant, we've got in shape, we've got cost, then ancient, compete, and climb. So compete here is a verb which show the action. If you look at the picture, two people competing for a particular thing, and that thing which they are competing for is called a competition. Okay, so first there is a competition, and the people who are trying to win, or what they're trying to win, something they're trying to win, is they compete. So they literally compete with each other to say who is the strongest or who is the best at something. So we've got climb. So climb up, scale up a mountain, climb up a rock. So all of that are several ways, we can better understand those academic writing in some sense. All right, guys, this is what we've got time for. I'm afraid I have to go now. I shall see you guys again. Do have a beautiful one. Have a good day. Bye-bye.